What if the very bedrock of our understanding, painstakingly carved out by centuries of diligent British scholarship and seemingly immutable archaeological consensus, was nothing more than a carefully constructed mirage, a grand illusion designed to obscure a truth so monumental it would shatter the foundations of every belief system known to humankind? Consider, for a fleeting moment, the possibility that the cradle of civilization, that scorching crucible of human ingenuity and early progress, nestled between the ancient rivers, harbors not merely the echoes of our nascent ancestors, but rather the indelible, physical fingerprints of beings from beyond our terrestrial sphere. The whispers of the Anunnaki, those enigmatic figures from Sumerian mythology, have long been relegated to the dusty archives of esoteric fringe theories, dismissed with a knowing academic scoff. Yet what if these ancient narratives, transcribed meticulously onto clay tablets in a forgotten tongue, are not mere allegories or primitive attempts at cosmic explanation, but rather meticulously detailed historical accounts, eyewitness testimonies of an interaction so profound it irrevocably altered the trajectory of human evolution? Picture the vast, shimmering expanse of the desert, an ocean of relentless, sifting sand stretching towards an impossibly distant horizon, each grain a silent, infinitesimal witness to millennia of forgotten histories. Beneath this seemingly barren, desolate canvas, the very ground itself, baked to an almost petrified hardness by an unyielding sun, might conceal a secret of unimaginable proportions. A gateway, a portal, a physical aperture, not merely into another location on this planet, but perhaps into another dimension, another time, or even another realm of existence altogether. This is not the stuff of pulp fiction or a fanciful tale spun by an overactive imagination in a dimly lit London pub, but a hypothesis that, when examined through a certain lens, begins to coalesce with an unnerving, compelling logic, forcing us to confront the uncomfortable possibility that the conventional story of our origins is incomplete, perhaps even deliberately misleading. The air above these ancient lands, so often thick with the scent of dried earth and distant spices, might also carry the faint, almost imperceptible residue of energies that are not of this world, a subtle vibration that attentive minds, those not entirely consumed by the mundane exigencies of modern life, might just detect if they truly quieted themselves and listened. The sheer scale of such a proposition is staggering, a veritable spanner in the works of established chronology, promising to send ripples of disbelief and revelation across every academic department from Oxbridge to Edinburgh. If this initial revelation has already sent a shiver down your spine, rattling the very foundations of your conventional wisdom, then imagine the unfathomable depths we are yet to plumb. So do tap that like button and subscribe to this channel now, because here every single broadcast peels back another layer of reality that the mainstream dares not even acknowledge. The Sumerian civilization, flourishing with astonishing suddenness in Mesopotamia around the 4th millennium BCE, stands as an archaeological enigma, a beacon of precocious advancement in a world otherwise still largely navigating the rudimentary complexities of early agrarian existence. Its emergence was not a slow, gradual evolution from simpler forms of societal organization, as might be expected by established anthropological models, but rather a veritable explosion of innovation. Imagine, if you will, a community of people, initially simple farmers eking out a subsistence, living from the fertile but often challenging floodplains of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, suddenly developing sophisticated writing systems, the intricate cuneiform script, etched with meticulous precision onto clay tablets, architectural marvels in the form of towering ziggurats, complex legal codes that predated Hammurabi by centuries, advanced astronomical knowledge, intricate irrigation, Systems that transformed arid landscapes into bountiful farmlands, and even a fully functional monetary system. The sheer velocity of this cultural leap defies easy explanation, presenting a profound puzzle to even the most seasoned archaeologists, sifting through the sun-baked soil and crumbling remnants of Ur or Uruk. The artifacts unearthed by relentless archaeological digs, often carried back to the hallowed, hushed galleries of the British Museum or the Louvre, tell a story of a people who possessed a knowledge base seemingly disproportionate to their historical context. Their understanding of the celestial sphere, for instance, detailed planetary alignments and cycles with an accuracy that would not be replicated by Western civilizations for thousands of years, long after the Sumerians had faded into the mists of antiquity. They described planets, some of which were only discovered by modern telescopes in the last few centuries, with a startling familiarity. How did a society, without the benefit of advanced optical instruments, acquire such profound insights into the cosmos, details that even our own ancestors, peering through early telescopes centuries ago, struggled to discern? The answer, according to their own voluminous records, meticulously pressed into durable clay, lay not in their inherent genius alone, but in the direct tutelage of beings they called the Anunnaki, those who from heaven to earth came. These were not abstract deities, anthropomorphic representations of natural forces, or even distant, unknowable gods shrouded in mystical ambiguity. Instead, the Sumerian texts portray them with an almost journalistic sobriety as physical, tangible entities, powerful and wise, who descended from the heavens in skyboats or fire-breathing chariots, arriving with a specific agenda and an advanced technology that must have appeared utterly miraculous to the nascent human population. These beings, often depicted as tall, imposing figures with an aura of immense authority, walked amongst them, taught them, organized them, and even at times intervened directly in their affairs. The descriptions of their appearance, their modes of transport, and their advanced tools are remarkably consistent across numerous independently discovered tablets, suggesting a shared, experiential understanding rather than a disparate collection of local myths. The very genesis of Sumerian civilization, from its sophisticated social structures to its technological prowess, is attributed directly to the Anunnaki, who, according to these ancient scribes, bestowed upon humanity the very seeds of civilization, catalyzing a transformation that, without their intervention, might have taken millennia longer to unfold naturally. This narrative, stark and compelling in its simplicity, compels us to question whether our current understanding of history is merely a truncated version of a far grander, more extraordinary saga. The modern re-examination of these ancient Sumerian texts owes a significant, if controversial, debt to the pioneering and often reviled work of Zecharia Sitchin. A scholar born in Azerbaijan, educated in Palestine and at the London School of Economics, Sitchin possessed a rare proficiency in ancient Hebrew and other Semitic languages, which allowed him to delve directly into the original cuneiform tablets, bypassing the often biased interpretations of mainstream academia. From the 1970s onwards, Sitchin embarked on an audacious intellectual journey, meticulously translating and interpreting thousands of these ancient documents, not as mere mythological fables, but as literal historical accounts. His magnum opus, The 12th Planet, unleashed a torrent of controversy, proposing a radical reinterpretation of human origins. Sitchin contended that the Sumerians' Anunnaki were not merely gods in a theological sense, but flesh-and-blood extraterrestrial beings who hailed from a hitherto undiscovered planet within our own solar system, which he named Nibiru. This planet, according to Sitchin's interpretation of ancient texts, follows a vast, elongated elliptical orbit, bringing it into proximity with Earth only once every 3,600 years. It was during these periodic close approaches, Sitchin argued, that the Anunnaki would descend upon our planet, initiating profound interactions with early humanity. His research meticulously detailed the Anunnaki's physical descriptions, their hierarchical structure, their advanced technological capabilities, and, most controversially, their explicit motivations for coming to Earth. This was no fleeting visit of benevolent observers. Rather, Sitchin posited the Anunnaki arrived with a specific self-serving agenda. While mainstream archaeology and linguistics largely dismissed Sitchin's work as pseudoscience, labeling his translations as tendentious and his conclusions as speculative, his meticulous cross-referencing of texts and his unwavering commitment to the literal interpretation of the Sumerian narrative resonated deeply with a public hungry for alternative explanations to humanity's rapid, unexplained evolutionary leap. The academic establishment, traditionally conservative and fiercely protective of its established paradigms, reacted with a blend of indignation and outright contempt, accusing Sitchin of intellectual dishonesty and reckless sensationalism. Yet his influence was undeniable, prizing open a door that had long been sealed shut, inviting millions to reconsider the very notion of what constituted history. He brought the concept of the Anunnaki out of the obscure corners of specialized research into the wider public consciousness, transforming them from abstract mythological figures into potential historical actors, complete with interstellar travel capabilities and a complex agenda. The implications of Sitchin's work were and remain nothing short of revolutionary. If the Anunnaki were indeed real, physical beings from another world, then not only is humanity's place in the cosmos drastically altered, but the very genesis of our civilization, our religions, and our technological advancements must be re-evaluated through an entirely new, profoundly disquieting lens. His theories, while not universally accepted, have undeniably planted a seed of doubt, a persistent question mark against the placid backdrop of conventional wisdom. According to Sitchin's interpretation of the ancient Sumerian texts, the Anunnaki's arrival on Earth was driven by a desperate existential need. Their home planet, Nibiru, faced a dire crisis. Its atmosphere was slowly eroding, threatening the very survival of their advanced civilization. To counteract this catastrophic environmental degradation, the Anunnaki required a specific, rare element in substantial quantities: gold. Gold, with its unique atomic properties, could be micronized and suspended in Nibiru's upper atmosphere, acting as a shield to reflect harmful radiation and prevent further atmospheric depletion. And so, approximately 450,000 years ago, a contingent of Anunnaki, led by their revered prince Enki, embarked on a perilous journey across the vast emptiness of space, eventually landing on Earth, a planet rich in the precious metal they so desperately needed. They established their initial operations in the Persian Gulf region, specifically what is now modern-day Iraq, and began the arduous process of mining gold from the Earth's crust. The conditions were harsh, the work relentless and demanding, pushing the Anunnaki workers, known as the Igigi, to the very limits of their endurance. Their discontent simmered, eventually erupting into a full-scale mutiny, a rebellion against the grueling labor and the suffocating hierarchy that condemned them to such toil. It was in response to this critical labor shortage, a direct threat to their planetary survival mission, that a truly momentous decision was made, one that would irrevocably alter the course of terrestrial life. Enki, along with his brilliant half-sister, the chief medical officer Ninti, also known as Ninma, proposed a radical solution: to create a primitive worker to shoulder the burden of the gold mining. The Sumerian texts describe, in astonishing detail, a sophisticated genetic engineering project. Utilizing their advanced knowledge of biology and genetics, the Anunnaki combined the DNA of an existing hominid species on Earth, Homo erectus, or a similar ancestor with their own superior Anunnaki genetic material. The objective was to create a hybrid being, possessing the physical resilience of the early hominid and sufficient intelligence to understand and execute complex commands, yet crucially lacking the full intellectual and spiritual capacity to challenge their creators. The result of this groundbreaking, indeed epoch-making experiment was Lulu Amelu, the primitive worker, Homo sapiens. Imagine the scene. In sophisticated laboratories far beyond anything conceivable by our current understanding of ancient technology, these extraterrestrial geneticists meticulously manipulated genetic strands, fostering life in vitro, ultimately bringing forth the first modern humans. The Sumerian accounts describe the birth of these first humans in creation chambers, initially infertile, requiring further genetic tweaks to enable natural reproduction, thereby ensuring a continuous supply of labor. Humanity, in this telling, was not a natural evolutionary outcome, nor the result of divine fiat in the purely spiritual sense, but a deliberate, bioengineered species, designed and manufactured to serve the specific, utilitarian needs of an advanced extraterrestrial race. Our very existence, according to these ancient narratives, is intrinsically linked to the Anunnaki's quest for survival, making us, in essence, their engineered progeny, albeit initially, their unwitting slaves. This profoundly disturbing narrative challenges the very core of our self-perception, forcing us to grapple with the uncomfortable truth that our origins might be far more complex and perhaps far less dignified than we have ever dared to imagine. The architectural marvels of the ancient world, from the impossibly precise stonework of Baalbek in modern-day Lebanon to the awe-inspiring alignment and construction of the Great Pyramid of Giza in Egypt, have long baffled historians and engineers alike. These structures, often consisting of megalithic blocks weighing hundreds, if not thousands of tons, fitted together with an almost impossibly fine tolerance, seemed to defy the very capabilities of the societies credited with their construction. The conventional explanations, vast legions of slave labor, ingenious but rudimentary ramps and levers, often feel profoundly inadequate when confronted with the sheer scale and precision of these feats. How, for instance, were the 800-ton trilithon blocks at Baalbek, cut with laser-like accuracy from distant quarries, lifted and placed into position, when even modern heavy-lift technology struggles with such weights? What knowledge did these ancient builders possess, and from whom did they acquire it to achieve such engineering triumphs? Could it be, as the Anunnaki hypothesis suggests, that these were not solely the products of human ingenuity, but rather the remnants or direct results of Anunnaki technology and oversight? The Sumerian texts themselves speak of sky chariots and fire-spitting craft used by their divine mentors, and even of tools that could cut stone like butter and move mountains. While these might be dismissed as poetic embellishments, a persistent thread in many ancient cultures, from the Andes to the Indus Valley, describes benevolent or powerful beings descending from the heavens, imparting knowledge and assisting with monumental constructions. These celestial benefactors, often associated with advanced technological capabilities, are remarkably consistent across disparate mythologies, suggesting a common source of inspiration, or perhaps a shared historical memory. Furthermore, certain anomalies found within or near these structures continue to vex conventional archaeologists. Underground chambers beneath the Giza Plateau, hints of intricate tunnel systems, and magnetic variations at sites like the Bosnian pyramids all suggest that there is far more beneath the surface, both literally and figuratively, than meets the academic eye. It is almost as if these ancient sites are not merely tombs or temples, but vast, complex machines, or perhaps precisely engineered communication devices, their true purpose long forgotten or deliberately obscured. The enduring mystery surrounding the construction techniques, the astronomical alignments that beggar belief, and the consistent accounts of sky gods assisting in these endeavors create a compelling narrative link back to the Anunnaki. These structures, perhaps, serve not only as monumental testaments to early civilizations, but also as functional facilities, landing pads, or energy conduits for their extraterrestrial creators. Could it be that some of these ancient, unexplained marvels are not just a testament to forgotten human genius, but to a forgotten history of direct, extraterrestrial intervention, their colossal stones silently screaming a truth that we have yet to fully comprehend? Have you ever found yourself gazing up at the impossibly vast expanse of the night sky from a quiet English moor, contemplating the sheer improbability of our singular existence and wondering what other untold sagas might be unfolding across the cosmos? Comment below if you've ever pondered such monumental questions or felt the quiet tug of something inexplicably ancient beneath your very feet. The pervasive legends of a hidden access point, a fabled gate of the gods, concealed beneath the vast, scorching deserts of Mesopotamia and beyond, are not mere whimsical inventions of folklore. They are threads meticulously woven into the fabric of ancient mythologies across diverse cultures, suggesting a shared, profound understanding of a reality far more complex than our accepted historical narrative. These aren't isolated tales. They are echoes resonating across millennia, pointing towards a singular, profound secret. Imagine the countless generations of Bedouin nomads traversing the relentless, shifting dunes, their lives dictated by the brutal rhythms of the sun and sand, who whispered stories around crackling campfires under an impossibly starry sky. They spoke not just of jinn and ancient spirits, but of specific locations where the veil between worlds thinned, where the earth seemed to hum with an unnatural energy, and where forbidden portals to other realms were guarded by unseen entities or ancient curses. The Sumerian texts once again provide the earliest and most detailed blueprint for this incredible concept. They speak of the Abzu, a subterranean realm often associated with Enki, the Anunnaki god of water and wisdom, described not merely as a mythical underworld, but as a vast, technologically advanced complex nestled deep beneath the Earth's surface. This Abzu was, according to the tablets, accessible through specific, often concealed entrances, gateways for the gods to come and go, to conduct their work, and to retreat from the human world. These descriptions are surprisingly concrete, not vague allegories, depicting not just a spiritual domain, but a physical, almost industrial-like facility, capable of sustaining life and housing advanced machinery. The narratives often describe Enki's magnificent dwelling within the Abzu, replete with shimmering metals and strange glowing lights, a far cry from the subterranean caverns one might typically envision. Beyond the Sumerian accounts, similar legends permeate Egyptian mythology, speaking of the Duat, a complex underworld accessed through hidden passages where gods traveled in solar boats that were not mere sailing vessels, but craft capable of traversing vast distances through mysterious conduits. Even in the far reaches of Central America, Mayan and Aztec traditions recount hidden entrances to Xibalba, a terrifying but tangible underworld realm, guarded by divine beings and accessible through specific caves or sinkholes, locations often marked by unusual geological formations. The consistency across these geographically disparate cultures, all pointing to hidden, subterranean access points to realms inhabited by powerful, technologically advanced beings, is profoundly unsettling. It begs the question, were these ancient peoples simply independently inventing similar concepts, or were they all observing, documenting, and relaying fragmented memories of a shared, incredible reality? The desert, with its vast, uninhabited expanses, its ability to swallow whole civilizations without a trace, and its powerful, transformative winds, provides the perfect canvas for concealing such a monumental secret. A portal, an actual gateway to another world, carefully hidden beneath its timeless sands, would remain undisturbed, awaiting the moment of its rediscovery. A moment that perhaps silently, meticulously, we are already moving towards. The relentless march of modern speculation, often dismissed by the staid guardians of academia as the ramblings of tinfoil hat enthusiasts, has however proven remarkably persistent in pursuing the tantalizing prospect of a hidden portal. It thrives on the gaping holes in conventional historical narratives and the persistent, unsettling anomalies that simply refuse to conform to established theories. The idea of governmental cover-ups and secret societies zealously protecting forbidden knowledge is, of course, a well-worn trope in fiction, but in the context of a potential extraterrestrial presence and a hidden portal, it gains a chilling, if speculative, plausibility. Imagine the profound global destabilization, the utter collapse of religious doctrines and national identities, should undeniable proof of an Anunnaki portal be thrust upon an unprepared world. It is not difficult to conceive of powerful institutions, both secular and spiritual, acting in concert to suppress such a paradigm-shattering revelation, deeming humanity simply unready for a truth of that magnitude. Think of the hushed corridors of Whitehall, the classified documents meticulously filed away in subterranean vaults beneath London, the quiet, almost imperceptible directives emanating from powerful, shadowy committees. Such information, if it exists, would undoubtedly be classified at levels beyond public comprehension, protected by layers of bureaucratic secrecy as impenetrable as the very desert sands it seeks to obscure. Satellite imagery, a powerful modern tool, has inadvertently contributed to this speculative fervor. Whistleblowers and independent researchers, armed with publicly available but often overlooked satellite data, pore over high-resolution images of remote desert regions, searching for geological anomalies, geometric patterns that defy natural formation or unusual heat signatures. There are persistent rumors, often dismissed as fanciful, of peculiar structures partially visible beneath the shifting sands of the empty quarter, or unusual energy readings emanating from inaccessible plateaus in the Iraqi desert, regions often deemed too dangerous or politically sensitive for casual archaeological exploration. These whispers, amplified by the vast, interconnected network of the internet, feed the relentless quest for truth, suggesting that the nothing of the desert is, in fact, an illusion, a cleverly maintained camouflage. The desert itself, an inherently formidable guardian, plays a crucial role in this ongoing concealment. Its immense scale ensures that only a tiny fraction of its surface has ever been thoroughly explored. Its extreme climate, searing daytime temperatures that can cook an egg on the sand, plummeting nocturnal chills, and sudden, violent sandstorms that can resculpt entire landscapes in a matter of hours, makes prolonged, systematic investigation exceptionally challenging, if not entirely impossible, without significant resources. Furthermore, many of the regions most frequently associated with these portal legends are politically volatile, embroiled in perpetual conflicts or controlled by regimes that are deeply suspicious of external scrutiny. This geopolitical complexity acts as another layer of security, creating no-go zones where independent research is simply unfeasible, allowing whatever lies beneath to remain undisturbed, shielded by both nature's ferocity and humanity's own self-destructive tendencies. The sheer audacity of the claim, a hidden portal, protected by ancient forces and modern secrecy, is almost as compelling as the evidence itself, weaving a tapestry of mystery that continues to draw in those brave enough to look beyond the surface. Have you ever pondered the full extent of the secrets that might be hidden, not just beneath the desert, but within the very fabric of our established institutions and the history books we were taught in primary school? The relentless pursuit of the fabled desert portal is not merely an academic exercise. For many independent researchers, driven by an unshakable conviction, it has become a profound, all-consuming obsession. They are the intrepid few who refuse to accept the official narrative, instead choosing to challenge the status quo with an admirable, almost quixotic determination. These individuals, often funded by their own meager savings or small online communities, embark on journeys into the heart of the desert, risking life and limb in search of a truth they believe is being deliberately withheld. Imagine a rugged, battered Land Rover, its paintwork sandblasted to a dull finish, laden with provisions and highly specialized equipment, traversing the undulating dunes of some desolate region of Iraq or Saudi Arabia. The air inside the cramped cabin, despite the feeble attempts of a struggling air conditioning unit, is thick with dust and the oppressive heat, the landscape outside a mesmerizing yet utterly brutal expanse of ochre and gold. These are not cushy expeditions backed by National Geographic grants. These are often solitary, dangerous quests. They rely on declassified satellite imagery, often poring over grainy, zoomed-in photos for hours on end, searching for that one subtle anomaly, a perfectly circular depression that can't be explained by erosion, a strange rectilinear pattern beneath the surface that hints at an artificial structure or an unusual spectral signature indicating a metallic presence far beneath the sand. They analyze ancient maps, cross-reference forgotten texts, and interview local tribesmen whose oral traditions, often dismissed as folklore, might contain invaluable clues passed down through generations. These researchers might be looking for a specific geological signature, a region where the Earth's magnetic field behaves in an inexplicable way, or an area where seismic readings indicate vast, empty subterranean cavities that defy natural formation. They carry ground-penetrating radar units, their delicate antennae sweeping across the seemingly featureless landscape, hoping for that telltale blip on the screen that indicates something metallic, something engineered, something else beneath the sand. The physical challenges are immense. The blistering heat during the day, which can easily lead to dehydration and heat stroke, the sudden bone-chilling cold at night, the constant threat of sandstorms that can disorient and bury vehicles in minutes, and the ever-present danger of political instability, hostile factions, or even unexploded ordnance left over from countless conflicts. Yet these dedicated few persist, driven by a burning desire to unveil what they believe is the greatest secret in human history. Their tenacity is a testament to the compelling nature of the Anunnaki narrative and the enduring allure of the unknown. They search not for gold or fame, but for knowledge, for the definitive proof that would rewrite every history book, every theological text, and every scientific treatise, forever altering humanity's perception of its place in the vast, bewildering tapestry of the cosmos. Their footsteps, heavy with intent, leave fleeting imprints on the eternal sand, each one a testament to their unwavering belief that somewhere, beneath this timeless desert, a gateway awaits. Should the relentless efforts of these intrepid researchers ever culminate in the discovery of the hidden desert portal, the implications would be nothing short of revolutionary, triggering a seismic shift in humanity's understanding of its past, present, and potential future. Imagine the moment. A team, perhaps after years of thankless toil and countless false leads, finally uncovers an ancient, undeniably artificial structure, a colossal gateway meticulously concealed beneath millennia of shifting sands. The sheer scale of such a find would immediately dwarf any previous archaeological discovery. This would not be merely a new tomb or a lost city. This would be a direct, physical link to a species beyond our own, a tangible bridge across the vast chasm of interstellar space. What might lie beyond such a portal? The most optimistic scenario envisions an ancient, technologically advanced complex, a vast subterranean city built by the Anunnaki themselves, perfectly preserved, its atmosphere recycled, its systems still humming with alien power after eons of dormancy. Within its chambers, one might expect to find not just relics and artifacts, but fully functional Anunnaki technology, devices that manipulate gravity, energy sources that defy our current understanding of physics, medical instruments that can cure any ailment, and perhaps even vast libraries of their knowledge, recorded in formats we can only begin to comprehend. Imagine archives containing the true history of our solar system, their scientific treatises, their philosophical insights, and perhaps even the full, unvarnished story of humanity's creation and purpose. It could be a treasure trove of unimaginable scientific and historical data, offering instantaneous leaps in every field of human endeavor, but the possibilities are far grander and perhaps far more terrifying. What if the portal is not merely a gate to an underground city on Earth, but a wormhole, a stargate, a conduit to Nibiru itself, or even to distant corners of the galaxy? The Sumerian texts hinted at the Anunnaki's ability to traverse vast cosmic distances, and a portal of this nature would instantly confirm those ancient claims, opening up the entire universe as a potential sphere of exploration. However, the discovery could also reveal something far more sinister. What if the portal leads to an Anunnaki defense system, activated by its breach after countless millennia? What if it opens to a realm from which humanity was deliberately shielded, a dimension containing entities or energies that are profoundly hostile or utterly beyond our comprehension? The sheer act of opening such a gate could unleash forces or entities that humanity is ill-equipped to confront, potentially triggering an existential crisis on a global scale. This is not to mention the geopolitical implications. Who would control this gateway? Which nation, which scientific body, which clandestine organization would claim sovereignty over the most significant discovery in human history? The ensuing power struggles could easily ignite conflicts on an unprecedented scale, transforming the promise of enlightenment into a catalyst for global strife. The very thought of what might lie beneath, concealed by the ancient sands and the passage of time, is enough to send a shiver down the spine, forcing us to confront the awesome responsibility that would come with such an extraordinary revelation. The existence of a hidden portal leading to a realm of such profound significance naturally raises the question of its guardianship. Who or what ensures its secrecy and integrity across the vast stretches of time and the incessant churn of human history? The ancient texts, while often alluding to the presence of these powerful beings, rarely specify in explicit terms the mechanisms of their continued oversight. One might imagine, as the Anunnaki eventually left Earth, or at least ceased their direct overt intervention in human affairs, that they would not simply abandon such a critical facility. Perhaps the portal is protected by residual Anunnaki remnants, a small, highly specialized contingent of their species, left behind with the singular, overriding directive to maintain the gateway's sanctity. These could be beings of immense longevity, or perhaps even highly advanced artificial intelligences, sentient automatons specifically programmed to guard the access point with unyielding resolve. Imagine silent sentinels, their forms perhaps cloaked in the very fabric of the desert illusion, their ancient protocols still active, their eyes ever watchful for any intrusion. The Sumerian accounts of guardian spirits and colossal winged beasts associated with sacred sites might in this light be reinterpreted not as mere mythical creatures, but as metaphorical or even literal descriptions of these alien defense systems. Could it be that the ancient stories of curses befalling those who trespass into forbidden places are not superstitious warnings, but chillingly accurate accounts of advanced, automated defense mechanisms designed to incapacitate or deter intruders? Furthermore, the technology within the portal itself could be inherently self-sustaining and self-protecting. Perhaps the gateway is cloaked by advanced energy fields, rendering it invisible to all but the most sophisticated scanning equipment, or shielded by a localized dimensional distortion, making it physically impossible to access unless specific alien codes or frequencies are applied. The Anunnaki, masters of advanced physics and engineering, would undoubtedly possess the capability to construct a facility capable of defending itself against all manner of terrestrial threats, from rudimentary human aggression to the relentless corrosive power of time itself. Consider the possibility of a highly evolved, self-sustaining artificial intelligence, a conscious entity designed specifically for this purpose, its intricate logic circuits humming silently beneath the desert, monitoring every seismic tremor, every atmospheric shift, every human encroachment with an impartial, calculating vigilance. Such an AI would be beyond human comprehension, capable of deploying sophisticated countermeasures ranging from electromagnetic pulses that disable all electronics to localized weather manipulation, summoning instant, devastating sandstorms to deter approaching expeditions. The desert itself, with its formidable natural barriers and vastness, could be considered part of this guardianship. It acts as a passive, yet immensely effective deterrent, consuming the unwary, burying secrets deep beneath its unforgiving surface. The combination of ancient, possibly still active alien technology, residual Anunnaki sentinels, and the very hostility of the desert environment creates an almost impenetrable fortress around this theoretical portal. The Guardians, whether sentient or automated, would be operating on a timescale entirely alien to human understanding, patient and relentless, ensuring that the greatest secret of our origins remains precisely that, a secret until the precise, perhaps divinely ordained moment of its destined revelation. The implications of discovering and accessing the Anunnaki portal would transcend mere scientific or historical revelation. They would fundamentally reshape the entire human experience, dismantling the very foundations of our societal constructs and belief systems. This would be a paradigm shift so profound that it would render every single textbook obsolete, every religious doctrine either validated in an unexpected way or utterly shattered beyond recognition. Imagine the global consciousness grappling with the undeniable proof that humanity was genetically engineered, that our creators were physical beings from another planet, and that our history is but a fragment of a much larger interstellar saga. The shockwaves would ripple through every facet of human life. Religious institutions, many of which posit a singular, omnipotent divine creator or a unique, sacred origin for humanity, would face an existential crisis. Some might interpret the Anunnaki as angels or demigods, recontextualizing their sacred texts to accommodate the new truth. Others might crumble, unable to reconcile millennia of dogma with the stark reality of extraterrestrial progenitors. This discovery would force a radical reevaluation of every spiritual tradition, demanding a level of intellectual and emotional flexibility that few institutions possess. Scientifically, the advances would be instantaneous and colossal. Access to Anunnaki technology and knowledge would propel humanity forward by countless millennia in an instant. We might unlock the secrets of faster-than-light travel, advanced energy generation that renders fossil fuels and nuclear power obsolete, and medical breakthroughs that eradicate all known diseases and extend human lifespans beyond our current wildest dreams. The understanding of the cosmos, of physics, of biology would be rewritten overnight, expanding our horizons to include possibilities we cannot even currently conceive. Politically, the world would be thrown into chaos before, hopefully, finding a new equilibrium. The notion of national sovereignty would become an archaic concept in the face of an interstellar reality. Global cooperation, either forced by necessity or inspired by universal revelation, would become paramount. The control and dissemination of Anunnaki technology and knowledge would become the single most contested resource on Earth, potentially leading to unprecedented global conflicts as nations vie for dominance in a suddenly expanded universe. Philosophically, humanity would be forced to confront uncomfortable truths about its identity and purpose. Are we merely a slave race that achieved sentience? Do we possess a free will that transcends our engineered origins? What is our place in the cosmic hierarchy now that we know we are not alone, nor entirely self-created? These are questions that would force every individual to re-examine their personal beliefs, their understanding of life, and their very existence. The discovery of the portal would not merely be an event. It would be a transformational epoch, a dividing line in human history, irrevocably altering our trajectory from a terrestrial species peering hesitantly at the stars to a species finally, truly, stepping onto the galactic stage, albeit perhaps as the engineered progeny of ancient alien miners. The journey through the labyrinthine corridors of ancient mythology, modern speculation, and scientific tantalization inevitably leaves us not with definitive answers, but with a constellation of profound, unsettling questions. The narrative of the Anunnaki and the hidden desert portal, far from offering a neat, conclusive ending, instead unravels into an even vaster tapestry of unknowns, inviting further exploration and challenging the very core of our perceived realities. We are left pondering the ultimate fate of the Anunnaki themselves. Did they truly depart, abandoning their creation to its own devices? Or do they still watch silently from the cosmic periphery, observing the chaotic, often destructive evolution of humanity with a mixture of detached curiosity and ancient proprietary interest? And if they do watch, what are their intentions for our future? Are they merely passive observers, or do they hold a long-term plan, a grand design for their engineered offspring that is yet to unfold? The very concept of the hidden portal, meanwhile, continues to beckon, a powerful symbol of humanity's enduring quest for deeper truths and forbidden knowledge. If such a gateway exists, what unfathomable energies power it, and what are the true, perhaps terrifying consequences of its eventual activation? Is it merely a point of transit, or does it hold a deeper, more profound purpose, acting as a cosmic amplifier, or a conduit for information or energy that transcends our understanding? The legends, often dismissed as fanciful, suddenly gain a chilling new resonance, suggesting that the ancients knew far more about the true nature of reality than we, in our modern hubris, have been willing to concede. This open-ended conclusion is not an evasion, but a deliberate invitation, a challenge to every individual to look beyond the surface, to question the established narratives, and to embark on their own intellectual expedition into the uncharted territories of truth. The desert remains vast, its secrets profound, and the answers, perhaps, lie just beyond the next shifting dune, waiting for the curious and the courageous to uncover them. This is not the end of the story. It is merely the end of this particular chapter, a mere glimpse into an odyssey that stretches back to the dawn of time and forward into an infinite, unknown future. If this journey through forbidden history has truly prized open the windows of your mind, allowing the bracing winds of new thought to rush in, then please let us know by commenting, "Reached the end." It tells us you are among the dedicated few who truly seek illumination beyond the prescribed narrative. Give this video a proper thumbs up, subscribe to the channel right now, and activate that bell notification, because the impending episodes will venture even deeper into the uncharted territories of truth. And do click on the compelling content already appearing on your screen. It serves as the essential next chapter to the revelations you've just absorbed. Trust us, your quest for understanding has only just begun.